Welcome to 1999 at 25.
Yes.
I'm John Brooks.
I'm Jenn Tisdale. I'm also 25.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were born in 1999. I forgot about that.
I'll be 25 soon.
Mm-hmm.
Thrilled to receive it. Thrilled.
Your birthday is next week? This week?
It's in a little less. It's in 11 days. As we are recording, It's actually a very significant birthday. As we are recording, today is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So
Yes. God
just
rest
want to
his soul.
Just want to let that big guy know I'm thinking about him
all
day, every day. Too much, honestly.
The Travis Kelce of the 19th century, as people often refer to him.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln would never have a cop's haircut. He would never.
No, I think that's how cops looked in the 19th century, like weird beards and funny hats. I feel like that's cops.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show back then. Must be those are the early years. I didn't check in till the 90s.
That feels like it should have been a sketch on The State or the Ben Stiller show, but I don't think it was. Like 19th century cops. Bad boys.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Fire a gun that takes 9 minutes to load and then hope it hits its target? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We were a lot safer back then.
I guess they had good guns back then. I know your ancestor had invented something useful that killed Kennedy, right? Or killed Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's your fault. You did that.
Derringer pistol. I love to be part of history. I'll take it. I'll take it. All press is good press. I'll take it.
Sure. Yeah. You did the Lincoln assassination.
That's right. You heard it here. Did I tell you this? I can't stop talking about it. We talked about this last time, my hairdresser, who said she wasn't sure who killed Lincoln. And I said, we got that one down.
Yeah, we got that one down.
This conspiracy has been solved. We did it right now. It was me.
There was a grassy knoll at the Ford's Theater.
Couple of magic bullets. And not a book. There was a book, as I like to call it. Is it a suppository?
The book depository.
Oh, I know.
Not suppository.
Oh, I know. Okay. Around here, I keep my books.
Yeah. Where no one can borrow them forever.
Where no man will ever go before. Okay, sorry. We're way off.
Okay, we are going to be exploring what was happening 25 years hence.
It's getting interesting.
February. I have some fun things to talk about this time around. So February the 1st through the 14th, 1999.
Yes.
There was 28 days in that February. There's 29 in this one. It's a special.
That's right. Ooh.
Special February.
We're going to make up stuff for that one.
Yes. We'll do a special one episode on February 29th.
It'll be like those old TV shows. This will be a very special episode. It'll be where we learn a very important lesson, something.
Yep. So February 1st through the 8th or 7th?
7th.
I think. To the 7th.
That's me,
That is you. So what do we got?
I tend to find these, I don't know why I need to stop going to the CNN but I can't stop. Won't stop. So on February 1st, I just thought this was very funny. So there was a proposal to move back the official New Year's Day.
Okay.
Because of January 1st, 2000, because of Y2K panic. They were like, what if we just moved the day back? Now, I don't understand technology enough to know how.
Outsmart the computers.
I don't know. What would you just whisper to the computers? Oh, no. It's in 3 days.
It's not January 1st yet. Give us 3 more days.
We've almost done the... No. Don't turn your little clocks over. It's 3 days from now. Yeah. I don't understand it. I'm very bad at technology.
January famously has 47 days.
That's correct. We can do what we want.
Last month.
What a crazy way to solve it. It sounds like, I don't know. So... And this is from CNN, and I quote, as the countdown for January 1st, 2000 closes in, some technology professionals may need every precious minute to ensure computer systems won't fail. So Congressman John Linder, okay, so I'm looking, these are Republicans, shuck hair, and David Dreyer introduced the bill called HJ Res 14, Hand Job Resolution 14.
That's it, yep.
hand job,
That's what
to
it's
move
good
the
for.
official holiday from Friday, December 31st to Monday, January 3rd. While the efforts are good intentioned, are they? One analyst said they probably aren't good enough. The proposal for, and I quote, extra 2 days won't do anything, said Kazim Isfahani, an analyst for, I'm going to assume this is Giga Information Group in Norwell, Massachusetts. And I quote, legislating the problem away isn't the way to go about it. Do you think?
Mm,
We love to do that. And also, we
let
love
the
to
free
not
market
legislate.
decide whether or
Yeah.
not the
What
apocalypse
a
happens.
wild thing. I wish I could remember more about that time. I don't remember the panic. I wasn't extremely online. Were you?
We need so we got to do an episode soon about Time Bomb Y2K on HBO, which is great, which is all
Okay.
about the Y2K problem. Fascinating stuff. Really,
Okay.
really interesting.
I'll do it. I'm excited. I have no
I
recollection of that
I
time.
was not super online, but my dad is a computer guy. My
Hmm.
dad
Should he
graduated
be a
from
guest?
on the
Should he
Y2K episode.
should he be our guest?
That'd be funny as hell. Oh my god, my dad's great.
Yeah.
He is the most British person you could possibly imagine. But um,
What are his teeth doing?
they're great, great teeth,
Okay,
fantastic
well,
teeth.
I guess he's
He
not the
was
most British person I'm imagining
no,
then.
he's from like a upper middle class banking family. Uh,
Ooh, okay, so he's hiring Mary Poppins. He's that guy.
yeah, well, or like his grandfather would have hired Mary Poppins, but so he was the first when Cambridge University introduced computer science as a major. He was of the first class to graduate with a computer science degree. So he's been in like the computer science industry for
Ooh, yes,
since
he
it
should
was
be the He should be the Y2K expert.
since it was a thing. So yeah, I knew about it mostly because of him,
Hmm.
and he was working at Microsoft at the time, and yeah, like he is someone who can tell you kind of the story of the fact that when it happened, when Y2K happened and nothing happened, like it's not because it was never a big deal. It's because it was a giant deal and people solved the problem.
They
And
fixed it.
right, and
And
like
and it was
and
not
behind the
by
scenes,
moving the New Year's Eve back a few days.
no,
Maybe.
no, it wasn't
Oh,
giving 3 extra days to solve a problem they've known about for like decades,
that's
right?
so fascinating. And now your dad worked at Microsoft because I guess
Yeah.
like macro hard just wasn't hiring or sorry.
Yeah, no, that's where the real
You
smart
could
people go.
put that one, tuck that away. You can break that one out.
But no, listeners should watch Time Bomb Y2K on HBO or just Max, and we'll do an episode about it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a
And your
fascinating
dad will
story.
be the guest. I'm not giving this up. He's
No,
very
no, I
clear.
will invite him on to talk
Okay.
about that. He'll
Very
love it.
excited.
Yeah,
I'm just going to let that accent wash over me.
yeah.
I can't wait. Okay. This one, I included this because I just think it's funny to keep fighting drugs. Uh, this because Clinton was very busy, and he had asked Congress for the way that this is written. I believe this has to be 17,800,000. I almost want to like copy paste so you could look at this. So that's what it's like 17,800 and then million, and I'm like, so is that 17,800,000?
Wait,
Regardless, this is what I'm saying.
one
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 seven
yeah,
comma 800,
800
then the word
million.
million. So what are we saying? Are we saying seventeen
S-
million 800,000? What am I?
No, that's 17,800,000,000.
Well, yes, but they
That's
wrote million after it.
17,800,000,000, right? Like,
Yes,
right?
but then yeah, it's read as 17,800 million. So why not just say a billion or
17.
whatever it is? Listen, I stared at this and
17. Oh, okay. I can see that. So it's either okay, I see. Yeah.
it's
Uh
very silly.
it
It's
doesn't seem like it would cost $17 billion to do whatever the hell he's doing in
to pump
1999
more
money.
drugs into
Just
the streets. It's true.
oh,
Now, he asked, so this was $735 million over the current fiscal year, and he wants to. This is my favorite part of this whole thing.
yeah.
The programs fall under two categories: demand reduction, supply reduction. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
what do
Yeah.
you mean demand reduction? We want everyone to not want this as much. Hey guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
listen, here's the problem. You guys want drugs too much. So what we want is to give you more money, and what we want out of it is that you just want these drugs less. And everyone's like, that's chill. Clearly ridiculous. I'm not saying we shouldn't fight drugs that our own government has made
I
worse.
mean, I know a little bit about economics. The way you reduce demand is by
Get rid of
increasing
the
supply, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. What we're trying
put
to do is,
more drugs on the streets,
yes, we're
and there'll
trying
be
to
less
talk
demand because
talk
people
these
will have
addicts
them.
out of being addicts. Have you guys tried being less addicted? I think that's really going to help. So
Yeah,
I thought that was very sure, sure, guys,
yeah.
sure, sure, sure. We're still doing it. We're still at it. So that was all. That was February 1st. February 2nd. This one's not very exciting, but I included it because I am old.
Yeah.
Jason Priestley married his first wife on February 2nd,
Aw,
Groundhog Day, but
nice.
somebody must have popped up and saw that shadow because they divorced 11 months later, and that's what we
Wow.
call a Beverly Hills 90210. Oh no. Mm. And
90210 weddings don't tend to last long. It seems like
I know, not
marriages.
really.
Not a,
And he then married. She was a makeup artist, like I said, and then he married another makeup artist, and I think they're still married today. So
he
who knows
found a
what's going on?
better makeup artist.
Yeah,
That's
that
nice. Good for
sucks.
him.
He leveled
Yeah.
up. He went from
Ah, I married the wrong makeup artist. Damn it.
she was
Foiled again, Priestley.
she was contouring incorrectly, and I needed a different gal. Also, I feel like I have no recollection of what I'm about to say, but these words sound familiar to thine ears.
Yeah.
On this day, MTV Networks and Sesame Workshop launched Noggin. Now,
Oh shit. Wow.
I was
Okay.
obviously I was 19, so I think this was not. But I recognized the shows that were like the lineup included classic episodes of shows that I watched as a child, and probably you as well.
Yeah.
The Electric Company,
Yep.
321 Contact,
Yep.
Square One Television,
Hell yeah.
Ghostwriter. So
Yep.
those were like that was the original lineup. Was like let's just soft launch this with some old favorites. But I mean, I looked at the Noggin. What's the word I'm looking for? The artwork, and I was like, I've seen that. But
Yeah.
again, I think I was a little too old for this. But I do think this will speak to some people out there.
It
Noggin.
was like
It
Nick
then it
Jr.
Yeah,
Jr.,
it
right?
became Nick Jr. after many many
Okay.
years. Yeah, but this was
Okay.
the
Okay.
original Nick
Got
Jr.
it. Got it.
Very
Yeah.
exciting. And now we turn with deep regret to true crime. Uh, although this is also going to have some pop culture significance, and maybe you'll know this. So
Mm,
this is from Wikipedia. I'm sorry, everybody. I would have done like I would have rewritten and tried not to just like immediate just read off of Wiki, but my brain's a little sleepy, so bear
sure.
with me. In the early hours of February 4th in 1999, an unarmed 23-year-old is it Guinean
Guinean. Yeah.
student named Amadou Diallo,
Oh yeah.
you know the story, was fired
Of
upon
course.
with 41 rounds and shot a total of 19 times by four New York City Police Department plainclothes
Jesus Christ.
officers. Let's say their names: Sean Carroll, Richard Murphy, Edward McMillan, and Kenneth Boss. Not a boss anymore, boss. Carroll
Ooh,
later claimed
yes.
to have mistaken Diallo for a rape suspect from 1 year earlier, as you
Oh
do.
yeah, I mean, we
Listen,
of course, a common
Sean,
mistake. We all know that rape suspect that we have in our head from one
that's
year
right.
ago.
If there's anything we know about cops is they can't stop thinking about rapes that they're doing. No, that of like the suspects, but mostly the ones they're doing.
Yeah,
So he thought it was a rape suspect from 1 year earlier that he conveniently forgot about, I'm sure. The
but
four,
didn't forget about
yeah,
because it was like
yeah, yeah.
that guy,
Oh my
that
God,
one
where have I
I
seen it?
really hate. Yeah, yeah.
Which woman was I not believing when she was telling me her story? Let me go through my. The four officers who were part of the, and I remember this, now defunct street crime unit, were charged with second
Street
degree
crime.
murder. Street
Yeah.
crime. And wouldn't you know, they were acquitted.
What?
Yeah, of course they
What a
were.
shocking plot
Yeah,
twist.
can't believe it. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy around this. It's very familiar. We've seen it echoed many times before in
Yeah,
this
we did
country.
we did Rodney King. That
We
was our
absolutely did.
thing. Hmm.
In April, at least there was some like some. I'm not going to say good. In April 2000, his mother and father filed a $61 million lawsuit against the city, charging gross negligence, wrongful death, racial profiling, and other violations of their
Sure.
son's civil rights. And in March 2004, they got $3 million, although that was one of the largest in the city of New York for a single man with no dependents under New York State's wrongful death law. A lot of caveats there.
Okay.
So, what did come out of this, and what you might already know where I'm going, is Springsteen wrote his song American Skin, 41 Shots,
Mm,
which I believe he got a Grammy for or
mm,
something. Wyclef Jean wrote Diallo, The Strokes, New York City Cops, debut album, list this as an inspiration. Julian Casablanca said it was a political song influenced by this shooting. I mean, there's like a whole section on the Wikipedia page of just music. I Find It Hard to Say by Lauryn Hill, Lament for the Late AD by Terry Collier. If you go Public Enemy, There's a Poison Going On. There's a song titled 4119 based on the number of rounds fired striking Diallo. So
Yeah.
if Le Tigre, all these bands, if you go to his Wikipedia page and go down to music, all these people
Yeah.
wrote, so many people wrote something inspired by this or directly about
If
this.
if we'd had social media at the time, it
Mm.
would have been George Floyd,
Well,
right? I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. It absolutely would have.
yeah,
There would have been video undoubtedly of that, which would
yeah,
have been,
yeah.
yeah. So, and
Social
I,
media
yeah.
and high quality cameras that people carry around with them all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing, like, Rodney King, which was when we were teenagers, right?
I
Was
know.
was
That
was like,
person was, what were they filming? They were filming something else and they caught it. No, it was
yeah,
a movie. Was it a
yeah.
movie or a show? What was it?
I think they were doing some kind of documentary thing, but they
Something
had
was
a
happening
video
and
camera
they
with them.
just caught it. Just
Yeah, which is
like, I'm,
uncommon, but like that's how common it was. Is that
mhm,
like some random person with a camcorder, which was like a thing that you had if you were rich in like
mhm.
1992, caught this thing on tape.
Bigger than hell, as large because it had to fit around a VHS tape. That was probably one of the
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't have the
Yes,
actual VHS tape coming in.
you had a VCR on your
You
shoulder with a
basically did. You did.
with a lens attached to it. It was
It's crazy to think about
nutty.
now.
Oh my god.
I don't want to look at any Twitter discourse from any children going, "Oh my God, what is that?" And you're like, "Please, I'm begging you, absolutely begging you."
This is how we know we had piano recitals, because of these.
Yeah.
It's the only evidence we have
Oh my
left,
God, the way that
kids.
I stopped playing the piano because I didn't want to do recitals. That was my. I was like, "Can't I learn the love of learning?" And for some reason,
Me too.
they were
I
like,
don't
"Absolutely
want
not.
to. Ugh.
I'm
Yep.
just here for the music."
Me too. That was the deal breaker for me. I don't want to perform in front of people. I'm sorry.
No, and
I'm sorry.
I was embarrassed because I was an older student. I mean, I guess
Mm.
I love being on a stage, but I started at 13 and everybody else around me was like 5 and I was like,
13. Oh, that's yeah, that's pretty old. That's
"Thank
pretty
you.
old.
Thanks."
I mean, for like starting piano. I think
Yeah.
I started at like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everybody was little and then there was a weird old like, "Who's this adult woman who has a 401k?"
Why is this adult woman playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for me? I don't
I love
understand.
that song.
I mean, it's a banger, but like, don't get me wrong. Uh, uh,
Oh boy, oh boy.
anyhow.
Okay. Here we go. February 4th is one
Hmm.
more true crimey.
Yeah.
So on this day, Sean Richard Sellers was executed. He was an American triple murderer and one of 22 persons in the United States since the reinstatement of the death penalty in 1976 to
Hooray.
be executed
Boo.
for a crime committed while under the age of 18.
Oh, great. What a
Mhm.
cool country we have. What a great place this
Yeah,
is.
I don't care for the death penalty.
I do not either.
I'm not interested. No thanks.
Yes.
What did he do, you ask? Well, on March 5th, 1986, he killed his mother and stepfather. To that I say, what did they do? No, Vanda and Leo Bellafato.
Were they
While they,
cool? Yeah.
these guys sound like nerds now. While they were asleep in the bedroom of their Oklahoma City home.
Ooh,
Now this is
okay.
where you're like, oh, I think he planned this. Wearing only underwear to limit blood spatter on himself, he first shot his stepfather.
Sounds pretty planny. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's like, oh, okay, Lizzie Borden.
Yeah.
Uh, the shot awoke his mother, whom he then shot in the face. And he
Yeah.
tried to disguise his guilt by arranging the crime scene to look as if an intruder had committed the killing. So he just like wrote in blood on the wall, "The son didn't do it." No, he didn't do that. I don't know what that means.
Look
Like,
elsewhere.
I
Yeah.
guess I don't know how you arrange a crime scene to make it look like, because like it's just two people shot. Is there a way that makes two people look shot that's like clearly a not related person did this? I don't know. Stole things? I don't know.
Steal all of their money. Like,
Yeah.
guys, I've like, listen, if you're going to do this, steal everything, because it's never a robbery gone wrong.
No.
and, you,
It's like,
and you should make it look like it is, because it never is.
yeah,
And if the cops are like, well, he stole everything, they're going to be like, robbery gone wrong, and
that's
you're fucking
correct.
fine. Just
Yep.
please steal things if you're
Yeah,
gonna kill lots
guys,
of
you
people.
heard it here. And don't do what the Menendez brothers did, which is
No.
go out and buy some cars, buy a Buffalo Wings place. One of them did that. Don't show up the next day while cops are still combing the
Yeah,
crime scene
put the
and be
stuff
like,
in your closet and
"No,
don't think about it.
we
Just
gotta get our tennis rackets. We gotta go play tennis." And the cops were like, "I'm so
Menendez's.
sorry. We're still cleaning your parents' brains off of the
Mm, yeah.
foyer. Can you come back?" They didn't do it. Anyway, so and he also later confessed, Sellers, to the 1985 killing of Robert Paul Bauer, a 32-year-old Circle K convenience store clerk who refused to sell him beer. This guy sucks. Now here's where things get fun.
Okay.
At his trial,
Yeah.
Sellers said he was a practicing Satanist at
Nice.
at the time of the
Oh,
murder.
is this the Devil Made Me Do It Conjuring movie thing?
I don't know if I mean maybe I didn't
Is
drill
this
down into
that? It
more
might
of
be
it.
that.
It might be, although I
Hold
watched The
on.
Devil Made Me Do It, and I can't remember
Okay.
if
I might
parents
be
saw
wrong,
it.
but I
But The Conjuring tends to be very loosely inspired by. I mean, look
sure.
at those two attractive people playing the potato sacks that are Lorraine and Ed Warren. I mean,
Yeah.
please, Patrick, what's his face? Horror Daddy. Hmm.
Oh no, this is 1981. All right,
Oh
so
yeah,
never mind. Okay, it just
yeah.
sounded
He
like it.
claimed
I got very excited
he
for a
was.
movie I haven't seen. Yeah.
It's a good movie. He was possessed by a demon by the name
Yeah.
of Azerate. That's how you say it. It
Okay.
caused him to murder his victims. In later documents, and here comes a personal fave, and if you think Anton LaVey's not coming down the pipeline, in later documents, he claimed to read the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey
Yeah.
hundreds of times between the ages of 15 and 16. And then in
Mm.
a confession letter written from prison, he reflected on this period of his life, and he said, and I quote, "I got very involved in Satanism. I truly thought it was an honest way to live, and the rituals of it would enable me to control my life." Well, I mean, it's not like you didn't control it, you just controlled it straight into
Yeah.
3 murders.
Also, I've read the Satanic Bible, and that's bullshit.
Anton
Like,
LaVey just was like he was just horny. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, it's just a horny weirdo. Like,
Mm,
that's fine, and
mm,
it's a dumb weird book, and like, never have I been like, I should go murder some people now when I after reading it. So,
no, no. I think if
you
anything,
know,
you're like, I'd love to go have anal sex or something. Was that
no,
LaVey or who am I
no,
thinking of?
no, that sounds about right. But like, no, I read it academically for
Yes.
like school purposes, and yeah, it's
Was that the
fine.
Order of the Golden Dawn or whatever? Is that Anton LaVey or is that
That's more like Crowley.
Aleister Crowley?
Yeah.
Well, I think Aleister Crowley was the horny one. Maybe Anton LaVey was
Oh,
also the
oh
horny one.
yeah,
I
Alistair
think
Crowley,
Aleister Crowley was the
horny as
guy who was
hell.
like, oh, "There's a hole for everything, and everything is in its
That
place."
is Alistair Crowley. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Crowley.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anton LaVey, I think, was just like regular horny, but still pretty
Just like,
horny.
yeah, just weird, just a
But
weirdo.
Crowley was like relentlessly and
These just
impossibly
performance
horny.
art dudes who were like, I'm bored, and
Yeah.
yeah, want to
These are
piss
like
people
art school
off.
dropouts. Like what?
Yeah.
That's the vibe. That's the
It's like
energy.
saying I murdered someone because of Wicked. It's just like, come on, no, you didn't. Just you wanted to murder people. Shut up.
Can't wait to see
It's,
it
looks
on the
good.
big screen.
Looks good.
Okay, last one is just a little death date for screenwriter William Ludwig, who,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he won an Oscar for Best Writing and Best Screenplay for Interrupted Melody in 1955, and he wrote the 1955 production of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
Homa.
where the
Yeah,
winds something
and his
something
first
down the
screenplay was
plain.
Love Finds Andy Hardy.
Oh, good for Andy
Yeah,
Hardy.
with
Glad they found him.
Cutie Pie with Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland.
What? Mickey Rooney. Oh
I
my
know
god.
that guy. He got very weird towards the end, but you know what? He was a child star, so what can you say
Judy
about that?
Garland, always weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird
It's
through
not
and
her
through.
fault. We all speaking of
That's
Wicked,
true.
Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz was a
Ooh,
very traumatic experience for poor
no
Judy, Judy,
kidding.
Judy.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
guy
what I
hanging
got.
himself in the background. I mean,
I
you
know, I
know,
love
all
that.
kinds of weird shit.
And everybody just like breathing in snow/asbestos or whatever that was. What a
And the dude who played the
crazy.
Tin Man, it was like, yeah, we're just gonna put lead all over your
Yes,
face. It's like,
yes,
you'll be
and then
fine.
the Wicked
You'll
Witch
be
who
good.
actually got caught on fire was
Yes.
caught like, guys, this
The shit
cursed,
they went through.
a
People
cursed
complain about
production.
CGI today, and I'm like, nobody's gonna die from fucking
No,
CGI.
this woman was on fire,
You know?
and they wanted to do
So
the same thing again, and she was like, "Hey, no thanks."
yeah,
Like,
take two.
Yeah.
No, no, no. All right, we still got
Okay.
the cancer paint on the lead man. We good with that? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's
We'll
keep
find
that
out in
going.
20, 30 years. We're
Oof. Oof.
mm,
I remember when, so, this is how old we are.
yeah.
The, I guess it would have been 50th anniversary of Wizard of Oz, like,
In the 80s?
videotape came out. You remember
Yeah,
that?
vaguely.
Yeah. And then, like,
Was it
everyone
the
at
one that had like
school,
a soft? Remember how VHS often
yeah,
did?
yes, it had a soft case. It was one of
Yeah,
the squishy plastic
yeah, those
cases.
were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. And so everyone at school was like, "There's this scene where this guy hangs himself in the background," and I was like, "What? Whoa, cool." Uh, but sure enough, but I think it's just a guy who's like a rigger, like because they have the sets with like the actual ropes and shit, right? And
Yeah,
I think there's a guy who like clearly is like swinging around in the background in one of the scenes, and
just having a good time.
I think he just sort of fell, and it was like
Oh, but did he
hanging
really
onto a rope.
die? Because I know
Yeah.
this story, but I never looked into it. So someone really did accidentally hang
I
themselves.
don't think they hang themselves. I think he's
It was
literally
just
just like, I think he
hanging.
fell from a backdrop and is
Okay,
swinging in the background.
okay,
I don't think he actually is
okay.
dead, but
And
it
wasn't
is
there
creepy
another
when you're
one?
12 or whatever. So,
Is there
yeah.
another one as part of the Wizard of Oz, or am I thinking of how there's a not a conspiracy theory, but there's like a
The
somebody
Dark
draw.
Side of the Moon.
No, I know that one. Somebody
Okay.
drew penises in the Little Mermaid somewhere. There's like
Oh,
penis.
no, that's for real. Okay.
That's
So, like, okay. There's the whole sex jokes in Disney movies thing. Like, listen, these are like horny 27-year-old animators who are
I don't
making
mind it.
children's movies, and like they clearly put sex jokes in
Yeah,
their animation. There's obviously dildos as like the towers in
yeah.
Little Mermaid. There's the scene where like Simba lies down and the dust flies up and it says sex like in
Oh, I don't
dust.
know this.
It's clear as day, like it obviously says that, but it's just like bored animators fucking with people and like getting stuff
Should I
because
just
they're
Google
humans.
Simba
And it's,
sex dust? And do we think
yeah,
that'll
do
get me to
like
where I need to go?
Simba
Simba sex
sex
dust? Oh my God,
dust.
it's so obvious.
It's
What?
so obvious.
No, what is happening? How
It
could they
is
let that go?
100% obvious. It's so easy.
Okay, but okay, at least it was adult Simba. I was like, it's a little gross if it's like baby
Yeah.
Simba.
Yeah. No, it's there. So some of them like you got to look at the actual still because some of them have like the writing over it. But
They've drawn it in, I see.
yeah. But it's so obvious.
That's my favorite. That's not a constellation, that's a constellation.
Yeah, and grown-ups think shit's funny. So like if you can get it past,
I do.
censors, like
Well,
what would mermaids live in? Giant dildos under the like of course,
you just say it the right way.
Makes
Under
perfect
the
sense.
sea,
Under the sea where all the giant dildos.
everything's better. Down where it's wetter.
Ah, see?
Take it.
Everything's better down where it's wetter. Come on. You get that past the
Take
fucking censors
take
like
it
Alan
from it.
Menken. Come on. But not
Yeah.
dildo towers. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's
Anyways,
not like who's using those dildo towers? Those mermaids don't have. Like, who's using them?
what's
What are
going on there? How does
those
that
mer
work?
they don't
That's true.
have not until she has
Everything
little
gets
human
covered up
legs.
by finny things.
Mhm. Are they just blowing
It's
back?
all a mystery
That's not
from that
fun.
point forward.
That's
They
not
turn
fun.
into egg laying
Oh, yeah, I know.
creatures having been mammals for half of their body. It's a
Did you ever
strange
think
thing.
about in Mannequin, do we think Kim Cattrall had a vagina?
Wow. I've never thought about it that hard.
Because she was a real person, obviously, who, a blonde white woman who
Right. Right.
magicked into a mannequin from
I
Egypt.
feel like if you can develop internal organs,
Mm,
you can probably develop a vagina,
okay.
right?
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, because like,
Seems
when she comes
consistent
to life. Okay,
with the
yeah,
lore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good that we got that.
Glad we figured this out.
Mm.
Is that it for you?
It is it for
All
me.
right. February 8th through 14th. We have February 9th. NSYNC releases a third single, God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You, which is a terrible song and peaks
Oh my God.
in the
I
top
forgot about
10
that song and now
on the pop
it is
charts.
in my brain. Just
It's so bad.
God must have
Everybody,
spent
it's so bad.
time on you. I mean, that
Everything about
really,
that song is bad.
That
It's a
really
bad song.
posits that everyone there believes in God, or what are we
It's
saying
the
when we
most
think
like
of that?
Florida title for a song I can imagine, right? For like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad. Um, yeah,
Do you think that's the song Justin Timberlake was playing to Britney when she was laying on the floor after her abortion and he went and grabbed his
probably.
guitar and was okay? That's what I
Yeah,
thought too.
yeah,
That would have been my choice.
yeah.
Did you finish her book? Did
No,
you?
but I know
Okay.
the part you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
just strumming his
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's probably the song he landed on. That's what I'd want to hear.
hmm yeah. Man, it is gross, and like we forget that there was the whole with the like Florida boy bands thing, the whole like
Oh, what was his
vaguely
face? Is it Lou Pearlman? No, what was his name? The guy who
Lou
started them all.
Pearlman.
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
Lou
yeah, yeah.
Pearlman. Well,
The famous grifter who
yeah,
fleeced. Yeah,
that guy
but
sucks.
yeah, but wasn't he Jewish? And it's weird because like yes, there was this
I mean,
whole weird
I
like
don't think he wrote their song. He just put them
no,
together.
no, he just sort of made the bands. But there
Uh,
was this whole weird like Christian nationalist purity culture subculture thing going on.
well, hey, look, he recognizes like what the weirdos want, and the weirdos wanted virgins. I think. I don't know.
They did. Yeah, I think people intentionally forget that that song was basically an NSYNC hit. And they're like, "No, no,
Forgot.
no. Bye 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 is
I
the
forgot
song."
about that because I honestly never considered any of their slow jams. I only remembered the bangers. And to be perfectly honest, if pressed to choose, I preferred the Backstreet Boys.
Okay, so listen.
Hmm?
The best song of the late 90s, early 2000s boy band era is both a banger and a slow jam and a Backstreet Boys song.
Is it
And
Quit
it's I
Playing
Want
Games
It
with
That
My Heart?
Way.
Oh, I went that way. Okay, because I love
Like,
Quit Playing Games with My Heart.
I Want It That Way is such a goddamn good song. I just will never, I
But
will die on that hill.
you don't want to talk about how in everybody one of the things you say to your friends is, "Am I sexual?" Remember, "Am I sexual?"
Yeah,
And then all of your friends go, "Yeah."
maybe. You
This is
might be. I
all
don't
day,
know.
every day. I call my
What
friends up
does
and I'm
Jesus
like,
think?
"I have
I
one
don't know.
question. Am I sexual?" And they go, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, we can start our day." Needed to lock that down. I am sexual. Thanks, everybody. Mm.
February 10th, the 49th Berlin International Film Festival, the BIFF. Uh, the Thin Red Line wins the Golden Bear, which
Mm.
is the big one. Thin Red Line, 1998. So there's a couple of movies that people over the last 2 years or so we've been doing the show have been like, does this count? Does this count? And the two big ones are the Thin Red Line, which came out in limited release in 98. I saw it in 98 in limited
Mhm.
release, so I don't think of it as 99. And the other big one, which actually premiered uh, well also within this time frame in
Yeah.
February is wide release is Rushmore.
God, you couldn't find two more different films.
No, but like so Rushmore is one is I
Ah,
think the movie that people are like, is that a 99 or 98 movie? So it came out in 98 in December in like two theaters in LA and New York City in order to be eligible for
Oscar
the awards
season.
season,
Yeah.
right? And I think of it as a 98 movie, even though like its wide release was in February of 99.
So
And
interesting. You think of Rushmore as a 98 movie
I
or Thin Red?
do, yeah. Like I
So
don't think of it
strange.
as part of the
It
99
feels
canon. So
99 coded to me.
it is, I know. And it's the question is, are we going to cover it at some point? And I don't know.
I mean, it's
Maybe.
almost not fun to cover such a good movie.
I know.
You
And The
know what
Thin
I
Red Line is
mean?
a movie that people like sometimes I say that's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. So,
Do you think it's better than Thin Blue Line? Should we do both of them, or what was the?
And The
Is
Thin
that it?
Line
Is
Between
that
Love and
it?
Hate
Is that Errol Morris's film?
With
The
Martin
docu.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Errol
Oh,
Morris. Yeah.
which
Yep.
line's your favorite? Whose line is it?
Whose line is it
Whose red
anyway?
line is this anyway?
We'll just do a whole series on line based
Line
movies.
based motion pictures. That'll be a nice
Um,
chunk.
but The Thin Red Line, fantastic movie, and the Berlin
Yeah.
International Film Festival hit the nail on the head by
But
putting that
how
one.
adorable is the golden bear? I want to look at
Isn't
this.
that
What is this?
cute?
Is the statue a little bear?
I bet it
How
is.
could it not be? I'd be Mad Max Fury Road if it wasn't.
I was let's see,
Bear
B
Award.
Berlin.
Is it still around?
It's got.
It's a little. Oh my god! He's on his little hind legs and he's got his little upper.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
exactly
my
what I thought it
god!
was. Like as soon as like I know I've seen it before because as soon as I read that, I'm like I can see the image of the
Okay.
golden bear and it's on its hind legs and it's doing
Here's
this
the
little like
thing.
give
I
me a
don't.
hug.
I
Yeah.
don't want to body shame. Um, but this bear's a little. Speaking of thin, a little thin. Why
It
is he
needs some. It
so?
needs some food.
Where's
It
he?
needs some Wiener
He's
Schnitzel.
doing like almost like a walk like an Egyptian thing, but both of his.
Yeah.
He's doing more of like a zombie. Ugh. But how adorable! I think if I walked into someone's house and I saw that, I would just think that's a tchotchke. It would not.
Yeah.
It would not occur
I
to me.
won a prestigious award for.
I'm like, well, how cute is this? Okay, this is something like if my mom was like, I'm into bears now, and I'd go, okay, and I'd just be getting her all
I
these
found
bears.
this at Goodwill. You
Why
know.
does it say thin red line on it? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Why does it say Best Actor Jim Caviezel? What's that?
Boy,
What's that
you'll
about?
never hear those words again.
You will not. You will
No,
not.
you will not. What a shame.
He's
Actually,
so good in that movie.
he's
Fucking
he's
hell.
a good actor. That's the problem. He just went
Yeah.
crazy, and I don't know why. Did
Yeah.
it start with playing Jesus Christ? Is that where he?
No, no. He's been a trad calf for a long
God.
time.
Okay, okay. Look at this. I forgot. Okay, can I tell you one of my favorite actors who has
Yeah.
not gotten enough love? Elias Koteas. He's
Elias
in
Koteas is the best.
Koteas. Thank you.
The best. The
But
best.
this is an incredible cast. You got a couple of crazies in there. You got your Nolte. You got your Penn.
Oh, I love this movie so much. Yeah.
Gosh,
Woody
John
Harrelson.
Trav is in it. Travolta.
Yep.
Golly, this is a
Cusack.
real. Good
Hmm.
Lord, it keeps going.
Gary
Jared
Oldman was
Leto.
cut from the movie. That's how good a movie it is.
Was he
They're like, we
drunk?
don't need the Gary Oldman scene.
Was he drunk? That was his
He
drink.
might
Was
have
that
been.
his drinking days?
I don't know.
Okay,
Adrian Brody,
Thomas Jane. This
Thomas
is
Jane.
this is crazy.
It's a
Jared
it's a
Leto.
nuts cast. It's
Jared
yeah.
Leto's face is too pretty for a war film. I'm sorry, and I don't mean that
Who
because
would kill this man? Come on.
nobody.
Look how
Fight
pretty
Club.
he is.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a
Okay,
great
I'm
movie.
gonna have to. Christopher Maloney. John,
Yeah.
what in God's Bill Pullman? What in the ever loving? Am I still in the cast? Have I gone to another place?
No, that's the cast.
Oh wow, I might have to rewatch. This is worth it for me.
It's a great movie. It's a great
Which
movie.
war is it?
World War II, it's the Battle of Guadalcanal, which is one of the
Everybody's
most
fave.
costly battles
Everybody's
on the
dad's fave.
eastern. Yes, it is
Mhm.
everybody's dad's favorite. One of the most costly battles in the Eastern Pacific theater of operations.
Well,
Um,
I'm sure it was worth it. No
well,
notes
but
from
the movie
me.
itself is not a war movie. It's a meditation on like the meaninglessness of life movie, and it's great.
With a backdrop of war.
With the backdrop of war and Terrence Malick's obsession with like birds and nature and shit. It's great. I love Terrence Malick and love that movie. So
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, February 11th. This is a big one
Ooh.
because I'm going to spin this off into something that happened in the immediate aftermath, which is that on February the 11th of 1999, Pluto moves further away from the sun than Neptune, regaining its status as the solar system's outermost planet, a title it would theoretically hold for 228 years. But Neptune would get the last laugh as the
Mm-hmm.
last planet. Get it? However, as starting around 1992, scientists began to observe other objects of similar size to Pluto in what is known as the Kuiper Belt, calling into question its status as a planet. In August of 2006, the IAU, the International Astronomical Union, created an official definition for the term planet. According to their resolution, there are three conditions for an object in the solar system to be considered a planet. 1, the object must be in orbit around the sun. 2, the object must be massive enough to be rounded by its own gravity. More specifically, its own gravity should pull it into a shape defined by hydrostatic equilibrium, course, everybody's favorite equilibrium.
Yes, obviously.
And 3, it must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit, and all of this disqualified Pluto, leading to an ensuing and very heated
People were
scientific
devastated.
debate. People were
What was I going to
pissed.
do? My very educated mother just ordered
Sold us 9,
9 what?
ordered
Just
9,
not just
just
what?
9, just sold
What are we? What?
9,
9?
just
What?
nines, just
9.
just I don't know, 9 nothing,
You forgot the
9 nothing.
fourth thing. All these planets are big naturals.
It's true. It's true.
That's number 4. And
People still get mad at Neil deGrasse Tyson to this day for killing Pluto. And
I
the
think
only
I'm
reason,
pretty sure there's other reasons to be mad at Neil
the
deGrasse
only
Tyson.
reason is that no other planet has the name of a Disney character. It's like, literally, that's it. They're like, Pluto the dog, Mickey's dog. That's
Yeah,
my
we
favorite
can't kick
planet.
Mickey's dog out. What about? But you know what's more fun than that is to say, "Get your ass to Mars."
Yeah, that's still a planet.
Still a planet,
Mars,
guys. You can
still
still
a planet.
total recall that. Get
Yeah,
your ass to Mars. Speaking of boobs, 3 of them.
yeah, yep.
So, this shout out to this that's dedicated to my person. He's gonna hate
But
this.
there's a whole like the whole PBS special about killing Pluto, and about how
Is this a true crime special?
no, but it's about how like Neil deGrasse Tyson like literally got death threats from young children who were like, how fucking dare
Okay.
you
Well,
kill my planet? It's like,
didn't he have
guys,
something happening to him? Harassment,
harassment, something,
something.
I don't know. He that those charges were dropped. I'm not gonna incriminate
So,
him for something that he was dropped. I don't, whatever. He's a
yeah,
weirdo. He
yeah.
has bad takes on Twitter.
Hmm.
He's done good things for
Science,
science and the public, and I think
learning.
that's good. But
Yeah.
like,
But you look,
whatever.
You're not Bill Nye.
Whatever he's
You're not
done, I
Mr.
don't think
Wizard.
he deserves death threats
No.
for making not a planet because it happens to share the name of a
But
dog
it's
from
not
Disney.
like, unless I'm not hearing you correctly, this was not his
It was
personal
not his
secret.
thing, but he was one of the
He
scientists
just
who
kept,
backed the resolution to say
okay,
like this is not a planet.
great.
From the Wikipedia page on this debate, researchers on both sides of the debate gathered in August of 2008 at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, the
I know where that is. It's right up the street.
JHUAPL, right down the street from you,
That's right.
for a conference that included back-to-back talks on the IAU definition of a planet, entitled "The Great Planet Debate," which sounds awesome. The conference published a post-conference press release indicating that scientists could not come to a consensus about the definition of a planet. On June of 2008, the IAU had announced in a press release that the term Plutoid would henceforth be used to refer to Pluto and other planetary mass objects that have an orbital semi-major axis greater than that of Neptune, though the term has not seen significant use, and typically what we see is the term planetoid, which is like a thing that acts a little bit like a planet and is just an object in space that circles around the sun but is not itself a planet. So Yep.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah, the beginning of the end for Pluto.
I do remember that. I do remember
Mid
thinking, well,
90s.
that's a little sad, but it had nothing to do with Disney. It's just been such a
Yep.
staple of your childhood science experience. Like, I don't know, just felt
Yeah,
like
it's
we
like
have
this
9
weird fucking
planets.
cold
Yeah.
rock that
We've
you're like,
known this.
that's.
It's just what we've known. And
I know.
we don't, I mean, things change all the time. Definitions change all the time, but nothing
Yep.
so significant as that. Things I'm
Yep.
not even aware of are just coming and going.
Yep. And there may be, in fact, other planets that we have yet not discovered that do fit the criteria and do orbit the sun, but are so remote and so dark that we have a hard time actually detecting them. So, we might get a second Pluto at some point. We shall see. But
Mr. President, a second Pluto
has hit the sun.
has
Interrupted Neptune's orbit around the
has
sun.
entered Neil deGrasse Tyson's Twitter feed.
Yeah. This is a fun one. February the 12th. Speaking of science, it's a very science heavy episode.
Yeah.
Scientists warn about harmful impacts on health of genetically modified or GM foods.
Poppycock. Poppycock
This
nonsense.
Okay, so here we go. This is where the whole fucking like arguing with hippies thing started.
Mm-hmm.
This became known as the Pusti affair from a February 12th, 1999 piece from The Guardian. Quote, 20 international scientists have signed on an unprecedented memorandum supporting the controversial findings of suppressed research, which found that rats fed on genetically modified potatoes suffered a weakened immune system and damage to vital organs. In a report published for the first time today, the scientists from 13 countries also demand the immediate professional rehabilitation of the British scientist Dr. Arpad Pushti, who discovered these preliminary findings last year and was forced to retire after speaking out about
Mm.
his concerns. Dr. Pusti, pioneering research into the effects of GM crops on animal nutrition and the environment, included feeding genetically modified GM potatoes to rats to determine for the first time whether they had any harmful effects on their guts, bodies, metabolism, and
Mm.
immune systems. So this led to the idea of GMOs or GM as a catch-all phrase to sort of any food that was not just grown by some farmer with a hat dropping a seed in the ground and like let it letting it grow. And a one of the most annoying and weird and persistent scientific debates of the last couple of decades, which also I think is weirdly like kind of grown alongside the anti-vaccine movement,
Mm.
as people who I think have like genuine and rightly placed concerns about the way that sort of capitalism and scientific efficiency have replaced, like nature. And I think there's something to that, right? But
Yeah,
like it's also that like what this study really was calling for, if you read it, was like a better regulatory system of saying like
sure.
here's how these foods were genetically modified and why some of them might be harmful, but we've been genetically modifying foods for like 1,000 years, right? Like for a
Yeah,
fucking long time.
yes.
It's not a
We
new thing.
listen, we can't stop making new dogs. Do you think we're
We've
gonna
so many
and
dogs.
we gotta
Yes.
stop because the congenital birth defects are off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
come on. Some things we can modify, other things, please, please.
I I feel like though this was really because I there's like sometime around this and like Dolly the sheep, right? So like
Oh my
somewhere between
God,
like
Dolly the
right? Like between like
sheep.
97 and 99, I think
Yeah.
the new age of like scientific um skepticism about
Hmm.
vaccines and GMOs like began around
The
those two
the
events.
gold boom of it all. Just because we can doesn't mean
We should.
we should.
Yes.
Also, having a memory, don't remember when this falls in the history of the ear on the mouse.
Right.
Okay,
Right, right,
I
right.
feel like I don't know if
Yeah,
this is somewhere
that's somewhere
in
in here.
there, but I
Yep.
remember being thinking, well, that's. Although, did you read that story not too long ago about a guy who grew a penis? I had to grow his penis on his arm and had that surgically attached to his
Yeah.
body, and had the
Yeah.
penis on his arm for a long time.
Yeah.
Now
Sure.
that I can get behind, and I don't mean
Sure.
that
Hey, arm
literally,
penis, you
because
know?
I'm in a relationship and I'm happy and I'm in love, so I'm not really going to get behind that in a literal sense. I'm saying like emotionally, I'm like, hold on, a guy with a weird penis on his arm. Oh, that's just comedy. But anyway, yeah. So I hear what you're saying.
No, in all seriousness, I think that the GMO freak out and
Hmm.
just the poor sort of scientific communication of it, right? Combined with Dollar Sheep and Y2K, I think it was a kind of a perfect storm of people creating a kind of paranoia around
Hmm.
progress in science that they didn't understand and were afraid of, that I think we're seeing, with the COVID vaccines, the sort of logical child of that, like that soup, to today. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that 99 was when the GMO study was published, but makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
it does.
sense.
And
Weird
look
ass
at us
weird.
now. Look how
First
far
fucking
we.
Pluto's dead.
Nothing.
First there's no
Nothing.
ninth planet. Now you're telling me that
Nothing
yeah.
is safe. Nothing is sacred. So
Nothing.
does that mean if I, not to go back to Pluto, but I guess if I were to wander weirdly into some sort of, when do we learn about planets? Elementary school?
Yeah.
They'd only be teaching up to
Neptune?
Neptune.
I think so.
Does that
Yeah.
mean they had to, who's they, the royal they had to replace every textbook,
Yeah, all the film
every
strips.
graphic, everything, or they
Every
just like,
overhead projection.
or
Yeah.
you got textbooks and there were just like pages missing and just like somebody just like it was somebody's
Someone
job.
just pulled out the
Yeah. To take an X-Acto knife and just be like, I don't know. It's like, where's this? Why
Do
is
we
this?
order new textbooks or do we just take
No,
a page out
no.
of
We're
this
gonna
one?
hire people to take a Sharpie
Yeah.
to
We'll
this like.
hire some kids for the summer to
Hmm.
pull out the
Yeah.
last page.
I mean, honestly, what happened to all those books?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
Well, look, if you went back and read like a fucking science textbook from like 1968, it would
Oh,
be like,
it's
what is this?
incredible.
What is this?
It wasn't even that long ago, but it is
There's like
incredible.
a whole chapter on eugenics.
Oh no, not phrenology.
Oh, I remember our phrenology September. Yeah,
Well, I do.
that was a
I feel like, yeah,
great month
I
in
do feel like
school.
in my mind I can see one of those heads in a class, but it couldn't have been a today's
Yes,
class with like the
yeah,
lines, like the
the
latitude and
little
longitude lines all over
sections.
it.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, okay, what's that about? And they're like,
sure.
oh, just
This
bumps and things.
is what we used to do before woke culture got in the way.
Ugh, now I can't
Canceled
even
phrenology.
feel the heads of my students anymore. And I'm like, yeah,
First, I
bummer.
can't beat them, then I can't feel their heads.
That's right.
What
What's
even is
left?
teaching?
What's left? Impregnating them and then marrying them, or vice versa,
That's
marry
it.
Kayla Turno.
That's a
That is
different
what's left.
story from this decade. February the 12th, closing a saga that we opened up at the beginning of this series. U.S. President Bill Clinton is acquitted by the Senate in
Hey,
his impeachment
he
trial,
did
and
it.
everything in America went fine forever.
He did it.
February the 12th as well, in more important news, the year of Brendan Fraser begins with the release of the rom-com Blast from the Past.
Ooh,
Pay
ooh.
attention to your local 1999 podcast for more on Blast from the Past in the future. Co-starring Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Walken, and Sissy Spacek. But it is the Nicholas Sparks adaptation Message in a Bottle, starring Kevin Costner,
Oh
Robin
my
Wright, Paul Newman,
God.
Ileana Douglas, and Robbie Coltrane that wins the Valentine's Day weekend. This would kick off a solid decade and a half of insufferable adaptations of Sparks' schlocky romance novels, including The Lucky One, Safe Haven, A Walk to Remember, Dear John, and of course the favorite movie of all the worst people you know. Turning 20 this year,
No,
2004's
don't
The
say it.
Goddamn Notebook.
The Not Book.
That movie turns 20 this year.
I can't. I can't
20
have
years of people like, have you seen The Notebook? It's so good.
20 years of them
It's really
getting
not.
best
It's a
kiss at the
very bad movie.
VMAs.
It's a bad movie with incredible chemistry between two people who were so fucking in love at the time
Hmm.
and having a lot of sex. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing schlock and cinematography and Ryan Gosling.
And it's hard to
and
it's
Rachel
hard to hate a
McAdams.
period piece unless it's menstruation. But that's the movie where
I
I'm
hate that
and
movie.
I know that people really like Ryan Gosling, especially now, and I do too.
I
I think
love
he's
him.
great. I think he's
Love him.
funny.
It's
I think
great.
he's talented. I think he's
He's the
obviously
best.
attractive. But
Yeah.
to to think that you would not stay with James Marsden.
Oh, you're pulling a
I
James.
mean, I guess just physically, that man is like, that guy's like been carved out of something.
Sure.
He's been,
Yeah.
just on what planet? Probably not Pluto.
So the funny thing is, like, if you gave me a photo and you're like, whoopst of these two people is the goofier, I'd be like, Clearly, it's Ryan
Ryan
Gosling,
Gosling.
but it's James Marsters.
Yeah, he's really funny and strange.
Right.
He's like really weird. I mean, they both are, but he's. I think also. Well, here's the question: is he really, really funny or strange, or are we so happily surprised that somebody that weirdly good looking
Mm.
can still be funny, and now we're just sort of measuring him in a different way?
I don't know.
I think he's really funny. Every time I see him and stuff, he's
He's a
genuinely very
goof.
funny. He's
Yes.
very fun when I've seen him in an interview. He seems really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Notebook's
And
still,
so is Ryan Gosling,
yeah.
but in a way that is like, I don't know, slyer
Well,
than
he's
James
like,
Marsters.
yeah, he's very, I was about to say, he's more real. But he
He's
is
more,
sort of just
yeah,
like, he's
yeah,
just this dorky, nerdy little. Whenever I catch an interview of Ryan Gosling, it's always quite enjoyable.
yeah. They should
And
do a buddy comedy together. I think that's ultimately what we're saying here is that
I think he should be in the next. I think they're doing another 27 Dresses, a sequel to 27. It's got to be 28.
28 Dresses,
It better be 28 Dresses Later, and this is like just a zombie movie.
54 Dresses.
Of all the bridesmaids are zombies now or whatever. 28 Dresses Later.
Oh my god.
They are making another 28 years later. Ready for it.
My 20 my goal is to live to 28 decades later. But we'll see. We'll see.
I thought
See
you were
if
gonna
we
say
make
it
it.
was to live 28 decades. I was like, I think that one's. I don't think you're gonna meet that one.
No.
I know.
I
I
mean,
know.
if I do, that's the only way I'm going to make it to the next movie
Yeah,
because that seems to be how they're doing things. So,
in real time.
lastly, we get to Valentine's Day of 1999, and the most loving story I can come up with from this day from the New York Post, February 14th, 1999. Quote: Bin Laden's disappearing act. Terrorist
Oh,
family missing,
oh
says
no.
the New York Post. Here's the story. Quote: Osama bin Laden was reported missing yesterday.
By who?
A few days after the United States threatened to bomb Afghanistan if the wealthy terrorist was not handed over. Again, folks, this is 1999. Okay. Spokesman for Afghanistan's ruling Taliban militia said bin Laden and his family have been missing since
Oh
Friday.
no.
Hope they find him, and it was not known whether he had left the country. A U.S. National Security Council spokesman hinted that U.S. intelligence has an idea of the whereabouts of the suspected mastermind
Oh,
behind American embassy bombings in Africa. Again, it's 1999. Hope they find him.
hi.
I
Yeah.
can tell you one
Now,
thing we
did now,
do
Don?
know
Did they?
is he is not where he belongs, spokesman PJ Crowley said.
Oh my
He
gosh.
belongs in custody to face justice for the murder of more than 250
Oh,
innocent Americans
wait.
and
It's gonna get
Africans
worse.
from the bombings
Oh no.
in August, Crowley said. It's so fun to read old newspapers. The Saudi born dissident was thought to have been living in Kandahar, the Taliban's spiritual center, under heavy security.
I don't know
the
why I
van-
thought. I don't know why I thought you were gonna say like the Taliban's like retreat. Like this is where they
no,
go to
no, no. The
relax. This
vanishing
is their.
comes
This is their Palm Springs.
the vanishing comes just days after Afghanistan said it was cutting off his ability to contact the outside
Well,
world.
guess what, Afghanistan? You failed.
Isn't history fun?
I, this is so shocking because I mean, I wasn't. Look, I'll be honest. I wasn't reading the news in
No. Well, the
1999.
New York Post, let's be clear,
The
is
New
not the
York Post.
news, but like,
Although, was the
yes.
New York Post always like schlocky and
No.
weird?
Well, it was still
Was
very
it was it
schlocky.
better then? I
It
don't
has
know.
the New York Post has like a section that is just like people straight reporting the news that
Okay,
is
because
surrounded by like what's happening with Derek Jeter on the back, and then like the front is like
puns.
local rapist does things, and you're like,
But it's
ah,
punny. I love it. I'm like,
I
hire me to
know
write your punny headlines, New York Post. But
that.
so I honestly, I think like a lot of Americans, the name Osama bin Laden was not in my brain until obviously after 9/11. But it would have seemed that, and I knew obviously the government because when I had rewatched American Crime Story,
Yeah,
there are scenes of Clinton talking about I think Osama bin Laden, and that was the or mid '90s, early '90s, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely.
And
Well,
I'm sure there's
the
lots of.
first time he almost blew up the World Trade Center, like, was the late '90s. So,
Well, as my grandmother would say, second place is first loser.
and he
Almost
never tried
isn't
again.
good enough.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I definitely knew who he was. I mean, like, when 9/11 happened, I like, it's so weird though, because like the way that you like rewrite your own remembrance of history, right? I remember when 9/11 happened being like, oh, it's bin Laden. But then somehow also like post 9/11, bin Laden was like a bigger deal and like became more famous in my brain. I don't know how to
Mm.
explain that. But like, definitely I remember him doing the first botched World Trade Center bombing.
Mhm.
Because you remember like in the late 90s when he like when the Al Qaeda like placed car bombs
Yes,
underneath the
I
World Trade Center.
remember car bombs,
Yeah.
but I also, unrelated to all of this, remember Timothy
Right,
McVeigh,
and that's the other thing. Is like we were worried about Timothy McVeigh.
who was inspired by David Koresh
Right, right, right.
slash Ruby. Like, so when I think, and also we need to get different names because we say World Trade Center, and boy, oh boy, that there's a lot of things called that,
Sure, sure.
So whenever someone
Yeah.
says it, I'm like, no, which one? Which
The
one?
important one in New York with the giant buildings.
Okay,
That's which one. Yeah.
always
Yeah. No,
in
we had one in
New
Boston as well. Yeah.
York. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
that's it's wild to hear. It's also, I guess, a little frustrating, but hindsight 2020. Although depending on what conspiracy you believe,
Hindsight 9/11.
maybe it was before sight. We knew sight.
Well, the problem with having a bunch of like asshole religious zealots abroad plus asshole right-wing fucking lunatic
Hmm.
terrorists domestically is that they always just sort of like are fighting each other for attention. So like, in the mid 90s it was like, oh, we're in asshole right-wing white supremacist terrorist season. And then 9/11 happened, we're like, oh, it's far right, Islamist uh season. And then, we're back to McVeigh town again
Yeah,
now,
just
where
a
like
frustrated veteran
if shit gets
slash.
blown up, it's because someone liked Trump too much, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more McVeigh-ish. So things come.
Mhm.
It's like that song, "Turn, turn, turn to everything." There is a
Yeah,
new version of terrorism,
that's right.
depending
That's what
on
that song's about.
who's most pissed off about their freedoms and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember when terrorism meant Timothy
I
McVeigh
remember when it
and
meant
stuff.
something. No, that's not. That's not it. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember all that. When I was a senior in high school, which is in 1998, we used to. There was a weird phase. This is not related to that, but sort of where someone was calling in bomb threats all the time, and we were regularly
Neat.
like evacuating a fire
Sure.
drill style. I can't remember what came of that or who, what, when, where, why, or how. If that was just somebody being, because you could do
Turned
that
out I
back.
went to high school with Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, my friend Frank Bin Laden,
Wacky story.
he had no theories, and I said, well, Frank, that's all. But I'll tell you what, he could make a
Oh
paper
man.
airplane like nobody's business. No, but yeah. So I don't know. That was just when you're 17, you're just excited to get out of school for 5 minutes. But
Well, if it's 98, then we're still
a
several
year,
months
yeah.
pre-Columbine where that was fine. You
There
could
were
just
other school shootings before then, quite significant as well.
do.
But for some reason, Columbine really got to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why,
Well,
but
because
yeah,
it was real bad.
yeah. Well,
It was bigger and worse
hmm
than others had been in the past. So, and also it was like white people in suburbia, which of course
yeah,
gathers the nation's attention
hmm
in
yeah.
ways that like people in not suburbia don't.
That's
So,
right.
you know, dude,
That's what
that's
happens. hmm
yay, cool
April's coming,
country.
just around the corner. Big 25th anniversary all around.
Anyway, that gets us to Valentine's Day of 1999. Pretty Not a fun start to February for by any means. It seems like a pretty bleak year
Oh,
so
I don't know.
far.
I thought this was very well rounded and enjoyable.
Well, yes, but not a lot of like really. I mean, we have the killing of an innocent black man by a bunch of asshole
That's
cops.
right. That was bad.
Osama bin Laden goes missing. TBD, what happens
Hmm.
there?
Yeah.
And yeah, fucking GMOs and shit. But Brendan Fraser is being like, it's going to be my year, man. This is
And it was for a little bit.
the year of the phrase. It really was. Three
Hmm.
movies in the same
Hmm.
year, and they're all great.
No
All three of
notes.
them. So yeah, that's so it's Valentine's Day, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there in
Hmm.
the world. I hope you're doing something fun, and I don't know. How do you feel about Valentine's Day, Jen?
It's because my birthday is on February 23rd.
Yeah,
I always instruct anyone like I'm romantically involved with to just skip on over.
yeah.
Don't care.
Do, do, do
I would probably feel
buy
the
me
way.
shit and then give it to me a week later.
Sure. I mean, not even that.
Yeah,
Just like it's like, why are we? This is. I mean, I'm not. I am doing something, and I think it's nice to do something,
yeah.
but I'm not going to stress out. It's
Sounds right.
very silly. We're going to see a show. We're going to see this Americana band called The Dead South. My brain broke for a second because there's also a band I like called Oh He Dead, but this is The Dead South.
Okay.
So I already have tickets for that. Actually, that's Wednesday night, but it counts. I've just
Yeah,
wait. That's not
I
no. That's
I
Valentine's
don't
Day.
disagree. Like I don't I hate people who get upset about the concept of Valentine's Day, and I'm like, there's not like a day where we're just like, I fucking love people.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
cool. Like
bother me if you sell
whatever,
like I'm
do
not
that.
mad. Even when I
It's
was
cute.
single, I wasn't like, how dare everyone
Ugh.
have something I don't have. I was up, but again, like I said, maybe very selfishly, I'm like, my birthday's on February 23rd. That's always been like, my focus. And
Yeah.
also, my mother and I have the same birthday, so
Oh, that's weird.
yeah,
Okay.
so I've always been like, I gotta get this woman a thing. God damn it. So yeah, I
Well,
feel.
the only meaningful thing for me is that like February 14th is my half birthday, so I turn whatever and a half on February
Hmm,
14th because I'm August 14th is my actual birthday. So like,
okay.
that's interesting. But yeah, I don't care. I've never been able to like force myself to care about Valentine's Day, and I don't care that other people do. I'm like
Now, I will say that
love
when
is
I
fun
was
and nice.
younger, I
Yeah.
worked at a law firm for 7 years
Okay.
from like the age of 25 to 30
Yeah,
something.
we've all done that.
And
We all go through our law firm phase. It's
I mean,
normal.
I was in DC. Where else are you going to work? Um, my,
That or the oil lobby. Those are
there's
your
just,
two
those are
options.
the alpha and the omega,
Or the
but,
the NRA.
that's correct, right in the middle there. I I didn't. My mother, very kindly would do that thing where she'd send me flowers, and then people would be
Oh.
like, "Oh my God, I got you flowers," and I'd be like, "My mother," which is not. When you're in your 20s, you're kind of a jerk about it, like, "Oh my mother,"
Yeah.
but so I used to be like, I appreciate what you're attempting to do here, but it weirdly makes me feel worse. So
Worse.
as much as
It's
I enjoy
worse.
like getting a dozen red roses from my mother or whatever,
You choose me.
you
Yeah.
I've not seen a lot of Simpsons, but I am familiar with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. So mommy, if you're listening,
Yeah.
no need. I'm good.
So
Your
quickly before we
daughter's having
go,
sex. Sorry. Hi.
how was G Love and Special Sauce and fake REM?
Okay. Exciting 90s update
Yeah.
about G Love. This this little band, I'm air quoting band because it was two people, but and also the one guy there was a drummer and then a guy playing the guitar and then a laptop was being used to sort of supplement things. And I was like,
Okay.
and my person heard people whispering in the wind next to us that he was a nepo baby, and I said, okay, what's this kid's name? His last name is Noel. His father was Bradley Noel. It was
No.
sublime. It was his son. And the
No.
second we looked it up and I realized it, first of all, he's very fun. The music's very fun. They obviously covered a couple of Sublime songs, which is incredibly thrilling. He sounds just like his father. It was
He must have
very.
been he must have been
He
a
died
baby when his
when he
father
was like
died.
5 months or 11, something.
A literal baby.
He was the
Okay.
literal baby when he died. He did not
Wow.
know his father. I Very eerie, just like him. I was freaking out. I kept
Wow.
apologizing to my person because I could tell I was getting too passionate and feeling too much about this, feeling like and then he said he's playing with Sublime at Coachella, and I thought, oh no, where's Rome? Because you know
Mm.
that Sublime, it was Sublime with Rome. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they had to fire Rome. So that was an incredible. G Love was great. They were so great. They played everything, and then at the end, he was like, I record. They want to just shout out some stuff, and I'm like, this is how it should always be, because you know you got idiots at every concert yelling stuff out,
Yeah.
and you're embarrassed for them because you're like, please stop. They have a set list. It's never gonna happen. Don't be
Yeah.
weird. But then we got to do the thing where you yell out the song that you want to hear, and he did it. And then he played 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, which was strange,
Oh,
but
nice.
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 And then, of course, Saturday night, I saw Michael Shannon with Jason Arducci doing Murmur, and they were very good.
Nice.
They played all of Murmur. They played a bunch of stuff from Reckoning.
Nice.
I mean, it was a long show. They played for over 2 hours.
They play South Central Rain.
They did play South. As I was leaving, I was like, okay, I'm a little tired. We have to go. And then I turned my
Yeah.
back. We walked. Yep, we walked. And I heard it. And I turned around. And I said, "We have to wait. We have to wait."
Yeah.
As we were leaving, they were playing "Don't Go Back to Rockville," and I was like, "Come on!"
Come
Because
on.
because what
Playing the
you
bangers now. That's not
listen.
nice.
Well, yeah.
How am I to leave
Why
during
not?
Don't
Because
Go
like,
Back to Rockville?
not to be an asshole, but like early REM, every song sounds very similar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially if you're
Yeah.
playing the entire album like
Sure.
that without jumping around.
Yeah.
Sorry, no offense. I think Radio Free Europe is the only song on that album that sounds a little different. And
Oh,
otherwise,
Perfect Circle and Catapult. But
sure.
yes. Yeah.
No, they all
Very
sound
free
vaguely
is yeah.
similar. The drum
Yeah.
is shockingly similar. The drummer was very entertaining to watch. He was dressed like Colonel Sanders. It was Michael Shannon's great. He's a great singer.
Yeah.
He's fun. It was super good. They're not playing too many. You should look. I don't remember where you live precisely, John, but they're doing East Coast stuff.
I gotta look. I gotta look.
I would
Yeah.
pop in and see if they're coming
Playing the
around
Middle
your
East and
area.
Cambridge or something. They
Oh my
probably
God, I
are.
swear to God, I think they're playing Cambridge.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm
I
sure.
might be wrong. But
No,
anyway,
I would be shocked if they
they're
weren't.
in Philadelphia tonight, so who knows? They might be moving north.
I'll look it in. What's are they playing
Here's
under a
the,
name?
here's the thing. I
Michael
just
Shannon
If you
and the
Google that, maybe there's a
Deftones.
list somewhere, but I happened to see it because my friend Dave Hill opened up for them and he
Okay.
posted it on Instagram. And I don't know if he's consistently opening up for them. I could check his Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really good show. If you're an REM fan and you have the chance, esteemed actor Michael Shannon,
Mm-hmm. General Zod himself.
General Zod, kneel before him.
Neil before Zod.
Mhm.
Cool. Quick couple things before we go. One, big 99 news this week is that Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is being re-released in theaters on May the 3rd for Star Wars Day, which is right up against its 25th anniversary release. So that's cool. People are excited about that.
May the 3rd or May the 4th?
So Friday is the 3rd, so it's that weekend. So it's
Oh,
for Star Wars
okay.
Day weekend.
Okay.
I know they couldn't quite
You
align
couldn't
it
do
with
it.
May
They
the
tried.
4th
Okay.
for Star Wars Day, but that's exciting. I might take my kids to see it in the theater just to see the
Mm.
pod race and the badass lightsaber fight at the
That
end.
is that is a really cool scene.
It
Yeah, I
really
know people
is.
hated that
It's so
movie. I
fucking good.
wonder. I bet people will feel differently
Oh,
25
people
years
love the movie
later.
now. Like
Yeah.
young people who grew up with that movie love it, and it's a
Poor
weird.
Hayden Christensen. Give him a.
Oh, God, I
I know
love
he's
Hayden
kind of
Christensen.
back.
I love him. He's
Yeah, I
great.
love him too. He's
He's great.
back. He's kind of back.
And last thing before we go, because this is something that a listener asked me, and I was like, I guess we should start doing that. So I had a listener say to me, "Can you stop just teasing the next movie and tell us what it is?"
Oh, yeah,
Because they
that
were like,
makes sense.
"I
Yeah.
want to watch along with you," and I was like, "Oh, well, if you want to do that, then I guess That makes sense. So listen, if you didn't get the tease from the last episode, and it's very obvious, and you really would have to work hard to not know what that reference was.
That's
But
not
if
true because I didn't remember what it was from.
okay,
And I've
fine.
seen this motion picture.
Fine, fair enough. Our next movie is Notting Hill. So if
Mm,
you want to watch with us, Notting Hill is the movie, and that will be, you have 5 days from now to watch Notting Hill. And we'll be back with that on Monday, and a whole round of love-themed rom-coms
I'm so excited.
from '99
It's
to
it's
celebrate
it's
Love
gonna be a
Day,
yeah,
February the 14th.
yeah. And there's a very special guest
There's a very
for
special,
Notting
there's
Hill.
a very special guest for
Special
Notting
love
Hill.
guest. I'm excited.
It is going to be interesting.
Yeah. So
I
grab
She
your
has a lot of
sweetie.
thoughts about our show, so we'll see if she
Oh,
shares them with us.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yes, that you'll have to wait and see,
Yeah,
listeners.
maybe
So
that'll be the surprise.
yeah, this is, well, when we know what who the guest actually is, which we do for this
We do,
particular
but I
one.
meant that we won't share that part. We'll just
Yeah,
tell everybody what the movie is.
yeah,
That was a good suggestion. Thank you, listener.
yeah. I know it's true. It was fun to tease it, but like you're right, we should invite
Yeah.
listeners to actually.
Sometimes I don't even know what movie it is, so this is
Exactly right. It
seems.
helps for Jen's planning purposes as well. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I hope I watched the right one.
All right, look out for frogs. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Eastern to mountain, third party call. The lines are down, the wise man built his house upon the rocks. I'm not bound to follow suit. The trees will bend.